Zoe,
Yes,
it is currently Sunday, the 8th of March, 2026.
I'm really glad that you've just proven that you don't have dementia and you
Thank you.
know what the date is.
It's
Who
not yet.
who is the leader? No, let's not go there. Let's not use
We,
that as a question.
no, we draw our very first Witches of Scotland meeting that we're having. Zoe, do you want to kick off and tell us a wee bit about why we decided to ask everyone to attend today?
Well, Claire, I think you maybe came up with the idea of making it official and of having an official clan, and has been reading a book for the last wee while that is all about the history of clans in Scotland. I have to say, I'm still getting my head around the concept, but um, but I think it makes sense, okay? Because at this point, it was either going to be a clan or a cult, and I feel like maybe a clan's a bit healthier.
It's
There's no
it
reason why
is.
we can't blend the two. Just joking. I'm just joking.
Please
No,
do.
no religion. But we reached a point where we've got so many amazing people in our community that it's just like it's just such an amazing opportunity to say, why don't we all gather together? Elizabeth's just written she would have still joined if it was a cult. Elizabeth, let's talk after. So we just thought we'd reached a point where it would be nice to have something that kind of officially drew us all together. And of course, you'll know if you follow us on social media that we've been referring to ourselves as a clan for ages. And somebody's just made the point there because it moves so quickly. Sorry if I didn't get your name. The clan is often seen as being a patriarchal structure, and of
Mm.
course, that is anathema to us. We are very much about it being matriarchal. And in fact, Claire and I've had discussions via WhatsApp where I've been like, well, who's the chief? Because if we have to pick a chief, does that mean, and it's normally
You're
down like the male line,
you're thinking in the patriarchal norms.
I'm
So
thinking with a peen.
yes. So I love how you've managed to get yours. I haven't managed it. The last thing I've got is a Huel. That's
Oh,
not
Claire,
fair.
no!
I've
That's
let everyone
terrible.
down. Sorry, I've let everyone down. I do have a cup of tea. I'll use that. So what happened was this. We, as you know, on International Women's Day 2020, we started the Witches of Scotland campaign. We wanted the pardon, the apology, and the memorial. On International Women's Day 2022, as a result of us petitioning the Scottish Government and writing specifically for that day, saying we think it would be amazing when you are doing the misogyny bill, if you could please also at the same time raise the misogyny of the past and give an official pardon. And we got that official pardon and we got confirmation of that in writing later from the First Minister. It was sent to us, which was pretty special. We wanted a memorial. We got our Witches of Scotland Memorial Tartan. And when people started interacting with us and talking about the tartan and talking about the family, we were referring to folk as members of our clan, simply meaning members of our community. And quite a lot of people were saying to us, do you have to do anything to be in a clan? Do I have to register? What? And we were like, no, it's just, clan just means community. All you have to do is be a member of our clan. You have to agree with our principles. You have to agree that remembrance is resistance, that we remember our past so we do better in the future, so we don't blame vulnerable groups for things that have happened when they clearly are nothing to do with those vulnerable groups and all to do with patriarchal structures and, let's face it, rich old white folk men that are running the world. So, as long as you agree with those things, you are part of our community. And then the more I thought about it, the more I thought, what actually does it take to be a clan? Like, officially in the olden days, a clan was the way of passing down land and passing down titles. And of course, for the very most part, clans were patriarchal. But I did some research and I found a book from the 1950s, which was written by the judge who sat on the heraldic court. And it's this particular document that I have been reading bits out to with Zoe and discussing. And basically, what it said was that there were family clans. We knew that already. People, Clan Campbell, Clan MacDonald, all those sorts of
Johnston,
clans.
which is my family's.
Clan Johnston. But there are also clans which are which bind people together when they have a common set of principles. And the Jacobean clan is perhaps the most famous of those. So I looked into clans and I looked into whether or not there was any reason why a clan had to be patriarchal. You know, what is it about uh, a clan that makes it patriarchal? And it was simply that in those days, women didn't own land or money unless they were very, very rich. And so, in order to keep the line of land and money in the family, they had to make sure it was a patriarchal structure. And I did some more research. I looked up some very, very old cases which said that there were matriarchal clans where titles and land were passed down matriarchal lines. So this is might be not what you signed in for me to be telling you all this law, but the fact is that it's really important to be able to find precedent so that you're able to say this has happened in the past. There has been a matriarchal line down which land has passed. Therefore, there is no reason why we can't have a matriarchal clan now. And so I started researching what it was that made a clan, and there were four things altogether. First of all, there was a community. We've already got that, right, Zoe?
Yes, I mean, I mean, this is quite shocking to me because I was talking about this earlier, and I think I've got this right. We've got 20,000 people on the mailing list. Is that
Yes.
right? So, I mean, I'm just counting them as all being in the clan. And if you're not already on the mailing list, I think you just go to our website, don't you? And you just sign up for it. So
Yeah.
it's just that's just a good way of saying that, look, here's a bunch of people, and that proves that we've got that kind
Yeah.
of group. So I think that this is an indication today with 303 participants. It's wild to me, like completely amazing. I mean, when you consider, I don't know if any of you guys are podcast listeners or if you followed the podcast in the beginning, Claire and I do not have what anybody would describe as a professional approach to broadcasting.
Do you know what happened today? Right. We'll not go off the topic because I want to tell you exactly
Oh,
what
sorry,
makes
I'm
a
sorry.
clan
I'm
and what we're
I'm
going
the
to
worst
do.
person for this. Sorry.
I was looking at International Women's Day stuff and I was getting quite annoyed. Not annoyed. I was very, very glad it was International Women's Day, but I was annoyed in myself that it's a day,
I
that
had this conversation earlier. Now, I'm just going to interject very quickly because a
okay.
lady has just written there that, and I've forgotten the name immediately, menopause, has said we shouldn't be anti-men, that a matriarchy can be for men too. We have got to be super clear here. We're not
Yeah.
anti-men at
No.
all. Like my partner is a man and he's quite a masculine man. And I love that. Do you know what I mean? Like there's not a problem with men at all. Not at all. A matriarchy is like, I read somewhere, they said what you need to think about matriarchy is that a big extent of it is you're thinking about your children and it's child focused rather than male leader focused. And I think what that means is it's community and future focused. It's not
Yeah.
thinking about how can I make a quick buck now? How can I be the powerful dog now? It's about getting on, just, looking
It's about
after things.
community. It's
Yeah,
about
yeah.
family and community.
So
We're family.
we're not anti-men at all.
No,
And I was
patriarchy, we say in the book, because we've got How to Kill a Witch Guide for the patriarchy, and we say really clearly, this is not about men. We are all part of the patriarchal structure. We are involved in it the same as anyone else.
Because
So
we can see that there are lots of good men, there are men that are not good, to use those really basic terms. There are women that, exactly, somebody said men suffer under the patriarchy too.
they
Absolutely
do.
100%. Nobody really benefits from it apart
No,
from the super rich. And actually, arguably, aside from the money, they're not benefiting from either because they're not living full and holy sort of loving lives, I would say, at the risk of sounding a little bit hippie there. But I would say I spoke to my partner today. My partner is from the Caribbean, and he was saying to me, it's the same as the like Black History Month. Well, why is it just a month? Like we should be thinking about everybody all the time, not just a day for women, like a tokenistic day. And yes, it's nice to be able to mark this day, but anyway. So let's
and
move on. So we're
no, no.
largely women, and we really celebrate what it is to be a woman, and we celebrate this idea of community, and we celebrate the idea that we have an interest in what happened historically when we picked on vulnerable groups, and that's really our big focus is strength together.
Indeed. And that is our community. What I was going to say was when Zoe said that we're not entirely
Sorry.
professional, when I posted something earlier today about International Women's Day, I said, yeah, we want it 300. What I meant to say was we want it 365 days a year. What actually it was, we want it 356 days a year. So I don't know whether or not I was saying we wanted a few days off. Anyway,
Mhm.
let's get back to what we're supposed to be talking about. So in relation to building an actual clan, what you need to prove, first of all, is that you're a community. We can prove that. We can prove that because we have people following us on social media. We have people interacting with us all the time. That's something that we can tick and we can prove. The second thing, in order to be an officially recognised clan, is that you have a tartan. So we tick that box as well because we have a tartan and that tartan is officially registered in the Register of Tartans. The third thing that you need to have in order to be an actual clan is a society. Now, that means that you are arranging events over and above what you would normally do. You have actually some sort of a interactive society where members can meet and talk. And Zoe, what are we going to do in relation to that?
I'm sorry, I got distracted, Claire. I'm reading the comments.
I'm asking.
There's a like my brain can't cope with all these different things to read, and the heart's going up the side. I'm paying attention to you. I'm going to shut the chat. I'm trying
Do,
to stay on top of the chat in case anything comes up that I need to
I
answer to.
do you know something? I appear to have lost the chat. I'm not
Probably
sure how
just as
to get into
well.
the chat.
Tell me what you're asking me again, and I'll quickly.
What I was saying to you is we have community, tick. We have the tartan, tick. And what we also have to have is a society.
Yeah, and how does society differ from a clan? What's the difference with
But
it?
it's not the clan is when you have four things. What the first thing is community, the second thing is tartan, the third thing is a society. So essentially what we have to set up is a society that people can join. So what we'll do is we will send out an email to everybody in the forthcoming weeks saying join the Witches of Scotland Society, you know, the
Right.
Witches Society, the Society, Witches of Scotland. I'm not quite sure what we're going to call it yet, but
Yeah.
we have a society. And what we thought we would do is that four times a year, each of the seasonal um, changes, we would have some sort of online and at least try one in-person event. Isn't that right, Zoe?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I think there's comments coming in just now about doing a conference in Scotland. That's a great idea. We should
Yeah,
do that.
exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
what we would really like for a society is we would like three online events and one event in person where we
Yeah.
could have, you know, a weekend somewhere. We just take over a hotel, God help them.
Oh my
Or
God.
can you imagine?
Oh my God, it'd be so exciting. And then we could do great stuff at it and we could just, it'll be amazing. That'd be so
Uh-huh.
nice. Yes.
So
We have talked about doing things like retreats before, but we've not talked about doing like a big thing. So,
yeah,
and of course, not everybody can travel, so it would have to be something that was hybrid, so
yeah,
that the people that couldn't come to it, we could, we could make sure that people could still attend, and thank God we've now moved to a place where people are used to doing things like we're doing right now. We can do a Zoom because it would be awful if you couldn't actually you couldn't join in because you couldn't
no,
physically get there because people
we
have
would.
got physical stuff they've got to do. There's money issues, there's political stuff happening. I know there's some people that don't want to leave the country in case they have difficulty getting back in.
For
People got
sure.
babies or they're pregnant or they've got caring, whatever. So it'd be good if we could do a kind of a blended thing.
A
Okay,
hybrid.
right, leave it
So,
with us to think about it. It won't be in 2026 because we've got fucking loads to do. Sorry for swearing this year already. Somebody asked earlier, are we going to come to Canada? And we do plan to come to Canada. So we've
yes.
said that we're not going to come out to the States this year because of, what's happening, but that we do want to come to Canada. But then maybe could we pencil in Claire 2027?
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Why
Why
not?
not? Why
Why
no? Why
not?
no? Why
Let's
no?
just do
So,
it. Right. Okay.
so
So
the
that's the
last thing.
first three
So
things.
we've got community, we've got tartan, we've got a society. Now, the last thing we need to do to be a formally recognised clan is
A
some.
handshake.
No,
No.
that's a different kind of group, Zoe.
I was thinking one of those kind of cool ones.
No,
No, okay.
not a handshake.
A tattoo, somebody's saying,
No,
yes.
yes, no.
Claire doesn't have any tattoos, but I do.
I don't. I'd be the type. Anyway, I'd be totally
Donna
allergic.
just said a sigil.
Donna, you are very, very close. So, what we want to announce, drum roll, is that we have applied. We put this in the email. We have applied to
Natalie's
the
just said a coat of arms.
Yeah, we
So
have
Jason.
applied to the heraldic court in Scotland, the Lord Lyon Coat of Arms, to have a coat made for us. Now, this would mean that they get our petition, which they've got. The petition has been signed by Zoe and I. They will look at that petition, and if they grant it, and I don't see any reason why they shouldn't grant it, then they will contact us and put us in contact with a heraldic artist, and then we will tell the artist what sort of things that we would like to incorporate. And again, it'll be like telling the story of the Witches of Scotland Tartan. And when we do that, it means that they go away and make it, and then we kind of talk to them about it. And when we're happy, we will have an officially recognised coat of arms. And when we have all those boxes ticked, we can stand beside any clan in the modern world and say, we are a clan, we have all those things. And as things stand at the moment, our coat of arms application is in. So as it stands, we're a clan.
Cool. All right. Brilliant.
It's a wee shame we don't have like music, or I don't want to start singing
Do
again.
you want me to do, I can do
Absolutely not.
Sing Hosanna.
Absolutely not.
I
Not
could
sing Hosanna
extemporize some.
again.
No.
Somebody contacted us after the last podcast and said, I've now got Sing Hosanna going round in my head and I can't stop it. It's like,
Listen, if you want the Scottish experience, you're going to get the Scottish experience.
and it is
People of our vintage, that is what it was growing up in Scotland.
a lot of it's to do with Sing Hosanna.
Yeah.
So the last thing that we want to tell you about in relation to the coat of arms is we had to choose a saying for our coat of
A
arms,
bottle.
a motto for our coat of arms. Zoe, what did we call her? What did we call it?
I'm so proud of this. Litigiosa et intrepida, which means
Fearless,
quarrelsome,
quarrelsome,
and
and
fearless.
fearless.
Yes.
So that is going to be on our coat of arms. Hopefully, quarrelsome and fearless. And we cannot see why. Again, that's a perfectly legitimate motto to have.
Yes.
So we will keep you updated as the clan progresses. We will keep you updated with the coat of arms chat and with our chat in relation to the motto. We're already using the motto. We can do that, but we can't use a coat of arms until the heraldic, till the petition passes it in court, until the heraldic drawer draws it, unless we want
I
to be
mean,
committing a criminal offence,
I'm
apparently.
sure that they will say yes to it because it would be an extremely bad look to say no to 20,000 women, many of whom I'm guessing are perimenopausal. Just saying. I wouldn't piss off that
You
section of the
wouldn't,
world's population
no,
myself,
no.
you know.
I would really,
Yeah.
really hope not. But so
Yes.
we'll keep
Or
you up.
postmenopausal. Yeah, I'm not sure where I am. Who knows? It's
No,
a magical
that's
mystery
true.
tour of my own body. Who knows? Because I've certainly never been taught anything about it.
No.
Anyway, so again, I digress.
You completely digress. So here we are, Zoe, at the very, very start of what is going to be one of the most exciting movements in relation to women that certainly I know of.
Yeah, yeah. And I think somebody just asked there, do they, I'm not going to say anything, Claire, so don't blab anything.
Uh-huh.
But they said, see, I have to look at me managing Claire, that's terrible. Say attempting
She
to
knows
manage
me.
Claire, I should say. Somebody's asked if we get input into what the picture is in the coat of arms. Yes, we do. Don't worry. And somebody also asked if there's a female artist. I believe there is. So
Yes,
we're on it. We're on it.
interestingly enough, the heraldic artist in Scotland at the moment who's in charge of a team is a woman. So she will be the one who will be deciding what it looks like. Yes, we do have input, but we don't have the final say. The final say is the courts because it has lots of different symbols. The symbols mean different things. So we can't say we want like we want to put in a, we're not going to put in this, but we want to put in a rose, and we want the rose to symbolize something. And they'll say, no, a rose means something different. You can't have that if that's what you want to symbolize. So
We're not
there's,
asking for a rose, though.
no, we're
We're
not.
clear. We're not doing
We're
that.
not.
No, it's
No.
a raccoon. Oops, joking.
I
Raccoons
know,
are native to
honestly,
Scotland. I don't think you're
honestly,
allowed that.
I
Yeah.
did check that a raccoon wasn't a heraldic thing. And one thing that we should have to importantly say is, although all these things together make you a recognised clan, it doesn't mean that to be a clan member you have to be every single one of these things or do every single one of these things. In particular, I'm thinking, you can see our coat of arms, you can come to the society, you can be part of the community, but you don't have to buy tartan. I don't want people to think
No, no,
that's
absolutely
part
not.
that's
Absolutely
part
not.
of it.
Like
All you have to do is be able to recognise your own tartan and to be able to tell folk
yeah,
that's my tartan, and this is what it
yeah,
means.
yeah. Because we're somebody's saying I'm down with us being trash pandas. Yes, Cheryl, we are in the same gang. We could be a split off raccoon sort of side of the
No,
gang.
no.
No,
Already,
no,
we've
Cheryl,
just
I'm
formed.
phoning you afterwards.
No,
Um,
we've just formed a clan, and
okay.
you are already trying to split
Farah,
off.
hopefully that's Farah, my pal from Instagram, is saying that Crone started off as a crown and then it got ruined. Of course it bloody did. Hi Farah, hello. She's saying hi Zoe. Hello, hello. So we're very, very excited about all this, but obviously we started off doing this because it's a campaign, right? So the campaign is Witches of Scotland, which we've been doing. It's 6 years now, Claire, darling. Happy anniversary. This
Thank
is
you.
the best loveless marriage I've ever been in. Don't know about you. But 6 years, and we know that we've achieved so much already, but we're not entirely there yet with our aims. So just to remind everybody, we've had the apology, we've got the tartan as a form of memorial. We are still working on the pardon, but we have to wait until Scottish Parliament has been re-elected, and then we'll get back on, because there's no point in identifying somebody that then loses their seat, which is in May, I believe. So if you're in Scotland, remember and register to vote. Votes are very, very important. Let's just make sure that the racists don't get in. But we
No.
have to really be focused on sort of post-elections, and then we'll do it then. But we are still very, very focused on that. And then what this really means is, one of the really nice things about the tartan, the top thing is that obviously everybody that knows about the tartan, because we know you're all such great explainers, knows then the story of what the tartan is, because we know there's people all over the world saying this is what the story is. But it's not only that, it's also the community, as we've talked about today. But it also means that through people buying the tartan, we can do philanthropic aims. So we have already done a couple of prizes for universities for human rights. I had a great idea, Claire, that I need to tell you about afterwards as well. We've also just recently decided to give 2 writing awards for gifts of time for women to get on with their creative writing, which is something that's really important to me, because you'll all know yourselves, motherhood or caring or working or just trying to hold body and soul together can prevent you from being creative. So that's something we've done. We're developing educational materials so that it can be taught in primary and secondary schools. I know I'm speaking quite fast, and somebody earlier said that we need
Oh no.
captions because we're Scottish.
Oh, we do. We
Oh,
can. I
hang
think
on,
we can get
take a
captions
breath.
afterwards to so
Oh,
that people
good.
are watching it. I
I
hope
look
so.
forward to seeing what they decide I'm saying at speed, because it's not usually accurate. But we it means that we've got this amazing aim that we can do. Somebody else there asked and said, or their captions just now. People are saying they can see captions. I hope they're accurate or largely accurate. Somebody there said, what's happening with the memorial? Right. So, as you can imagine, it's still just a tiny team. It's me and Claire, and we've also got Claire's sister working with us, and Claire's brother David working with us, and my daughter Lola working with us. But it's just really me and Claire doing a lot of these kind of things. And Claire's still got her job, and I'm still trying to write stuff. And I've taken a wee break from teaching, but I don't know what's going to happen with that. So there's only so much that we can do. And I know that all the people on this Zoom chat are going to understand what that is. So we're working towards it. And somebody just said the push for creativity. It'll come back. Since having a baby, my creativity is obsolete. Brittany, just drop me a line if you need somebody that's further along the road to tell you it's going to be okay. But we just, Honestly, I'm actually feeling quite emotional, and Claire will tell you that I am not generally very emotional. But this is amazing to me that there's so many people that are on board with what we're doing. So the next step of the memorial, we're not ready really to kind of push forward with that just now because we've got so many other things that we have to do, and we really feel like the concept of the tartan is obviously a form of memorial. So that is still there, it's still in our minds, but we can only do one or 12 things at a time. So we're focused on clan, tartan, philanthropic stuff, giving loads of talks, our paperbacks just about to come out. Like we're traveling around telling people about the witch trials. There's only so much we could do. But the memorial is still very much in our minds. But
Yeah.
just
For me, the memorial has a physical statue memorial has so many questions. Where would it be? Who would make it? Who would upkeep it? How would we get the costs done? Etc. etc. And that's why when we've had three memorial things so far. We've had In Memoriam, the poem that we asked Len Penny to do for us, which she very kindly do, and it's a lovely, lovely poem. We have the book, which is a memorial to the women who were executed as witches, and we're delighted to say that the book is coming out in Arabic and also Turkish as well. We would love for it to be put in more languages, and we're going to the book fair in London next week to talk to various people about that.
sidebar,
Um,
if you've got any contacts in publishing in any countries outside the UK, Turkey, and Egypt, dial us in. Because I'd
yeah,
love to see it in different places.
I know. I can't wait to see it in Arabic. And so we have the book, we have the poem, and we have the tartan. And for me, the tartan has done more than any physical statue or memorial could ever do,
Hmm.
because there are people all over the world on this Zoom that would not have been here if we had a statue put up. This is made us part part of history, part of that living memorial.
Yeah. I agree with that, because I think that we also have to remember, like, I think a physical memorial definitely has a place, but I think we also have to think about the fact that it's not only about the witch trials in Scotland, it's about the witch trials that happened historically around the world, but also the witch trials that are happening now in various places. The danger that there could be more accusations of witchcraft as things become more perilously bonkers, but also the fact that we're online, a lot of us now, as is evidenced by this today. So ideas can catch around the world, and that it's the idea of like a physical memorial like Tartan that can physically travel is amazing. And me, I've said this so many times, but as a teacher, I love the fact that somebody can be wearing the scarf and somebody says, "Oh, what's your tartan?" And then they go, "Well," and then they can tell the whole story of it. And then, I mean, that spreads. Like, I just think that's completely amazing.
Yeah, and they
We are
always,
having, sorry, Carrie Kaplan's just asked Anna Quarrelsome Dame shirt. We have got a bunch of merchandise that we are going to be telling you about soon that's been sitting in my spare room ready to go out for a wee while. We're just trying to work out logistics. It's another thing of Claire and I are
yeah,
great for ideas, a little
yeah.
bit less great at being able to
Here,
clone
yeah,
ourselves.
here is what we've got coming up. We have got coming up sales to Europe. We've got coming up merch. And do you want to today reveal, Zoe, what we're going to be doing at the end of the week?
Yes.
Do you remember what we're doing at the end of the week, Zoe?
I'm seeing my boyfriend, so that's all I can think about just now.
No,
No, it's
no,
not
come on
that.
now.
It's that we are going to release two new items in the shop
Yeah.
due to huge public demand. And I'm not even being facetious saying that. Are we going to say what they are just now? Because we had a conversation earlier and we thought, well, we don't want to launch it today because it's a bit icky because it's International
Yeah.
Women's Day. But
No, I was
but we can
we've
tell
been
we can tell
working.
these guys, can't we?
Yeah, okay. We've been working on this with Claire Campbell at Prickly Thistle because obviously it's done in exactly the same way. I've been working on this with her for a few months now, and we can reveal that we are going to be doing two new items. One, a big scarf.
And it's just called Big Scarf.
It's called Big Scarf.
We're not calling it. It is the 13th, Friday the 13th release.
It is.
It is. It's really exciting. Joanne has just said 13th Friday merch release. Amazing. Totally brilliant. So big scarf, and we're calling it big scarf because that's what I call my big scarf. So before the tartan, I always had a big scarf. That's just what we call it. So we're just calling it
Yeah,
that, big scarf.
I'm currently wearing the big scarf as
Yes.
a
So the big scarf is three times the width of the regular scarf, but the same length. So you can get
yes.
a good fulsome collar, which is
Uh-huh.
why I
We
wear a big scarf.
yeah, we've been having considerable debates about what the proper length is. We
And you can
made
put big scarf over your head to cover your hair,
yeah,
and you can do it in such a way that actually you can cover a lot of yourself up. So if somebody's pissing you off, you can just be like, "No,
that's
that's
when
very personal
Zoe's
to
had
me."
enough of me. She just pulls up the hood
And I
and
just go, "No,
it
that's
disappears into
the
herself.
end. Yeah, no
Do you
more
know what?
talking."
I found out that women at the turn of the century in Glasgow that wore these things, that wore shawls on their head were called shawlies. I didn't know that.
Yes, yeah, that makes
Glasgow,
sense.
Glasgow shawlies.
Yeah.
And the second
And the
item,
second thing, do you want to say what the second thing is called? Because it's in Gaelic, and I'm not confident with my Gaelic.
I am not confident with my Gaelic either. It's a shame that
I
neither
think
of
it's
us
something
are.
that people think outside of Scotland that we speak Gaelic, but we absolutely do not. There are people that are
Oh, some
really,
do.
no, some people do. Some people from the Highlands and Islands, and there's a growing, amazing bunch of people that are sending their kids to Gaelic immersion schools and stuff like that. But we certainly didn't know when we were growing up. You
No,
knew a little bit of Irish Gaelic.
I can understand a lot of Irish Gaelic, and
Oh,
I
that's cool,
can.
Irene. Irene's kids speak Gaelic. I presume it's Gaelic rather than Gaelic, and Jennifer is learning in New York. That's cool. That's very cool.
Just to let you know, Gaelic is the Irish, and it's the different pronunciation. Gaelic and Gaelic is the Scottish.
Scotland.
So
Yeah.
as you can see, it's like almost like the same word. So if you know Irish Gaelic, sometimes you can pick up a bit of Scots Gaelic as well. But I
Anything
only
but
know
rubber.
my mum and my gran and her many sisters would switch language when I used to come into the room so they could talk about stuff when I was in the room that I wasn't
Yeah.
allowed to hear. So I only picked up the, sit down, be quiet, close the door, all them sort of things. Anyway, the second thing that we are going to make, and we've thought about this, is we're going to make a large throw called the Arisade.
And
So,
traditionally, that was used as it could have been like a covering, it could have been something you could wear as a skirt. In the modern day, possibly people would want to use it as something like I've got mine, it's on my special chair. And it's just something that you can decide what you want to do with it. And it's like a big
yeah,
size.
I
So
use it like a great kilt. I half mine and put a belt round it and then let it drop down so that I can walk around with it as a sort of skirt, and then you can pull half of it up over your shoulders.
yeah, Claire's endlessly inventive. I'm very basic. So if you tell me it's a throw, that is what it's going to be doing.
It's
So
gonna
I'm my fashion inventiveness is just how I put my scarf on.
The thing about Arisid is, and the thing about what we're trying to do with the tartan is that when people made tartan in the olden days, it was just one big bit of fabric. And that was going to do you as it was your shawl. It was the thing that you wrapped up your wains in. It was the thing that you carried your food in when you were taking it places. Or it was the thing that kept you warm. It was it was just a blanket for life.
I have to say, right, I'm relatively new to the world of tartan and relatively new to the world that is not fast fashion. So I'm trying now that I'm in my 50th year. Is it my 51st year? I'm 50.
Yeah, you're in your 51st year.
You're such a bad friend.
I'm in my
I
55th year, 56th.
57. So now I am trying to, with Claire's encouragement, be thinking about getting good things, right? Which means expensive, right?
No, it
Uh,
doesn't mean expensive. It means things that'll last.
yes, which there's a cost for, right? So like I'm buying myself something that just gives me a moment of happiness and it's like £7. That's probably not going to last. It's probably not made ethically. But the tartan, right? I'm really, really hard on things. So, and Claire will tell you this. I think Claire, you're the same as I am.
Yeah,
I'm not a great taking care of things person, right? So I chuck, I chuck my scarf in the back of the car. We took them when we traveled to America. Like mine's constantly jumbled up and thrown in a bag, stuff like that. And it looks as good now as it did the day that I received it. And I could not say that about probably anything else that I own. So I'm just saying it actually is worth it.
That's not even an advert, by the way, that's always saying.
No,
She
it's
said
not.
this to
It's
me the
actually
other day.
bewilderment on my part that if you buy decent things that they last longer and they look
Uh-huh.
better.
And
I didn't believe it.
I was like trying to make a teacher moment. I was like, see, I
Yes.
told you, quality.
Yes. Yeah. And
So
somebody just there, Melissa's just said that tartan's traditionally passed down. And I think that that's actually something really beautiful. Like,
I
I
know.
love the idea of that, that you can pass it down to your kids. Is the tartan washable or dry clean only? Neither. So Claire Campbell says, don't wash it. So just
Yeah.
keep wearing it and then put it, like, get it aired. So get out on the line. If you need to do little spot treatments with a little bit of water, if you absolutely have to, get it dry cleaned. But she was saying you really don't need to.
No.
So, and it'll just last and last and last. I've not washed mine at all.
She
And
said that there's the
yeah,
natural lanolins in the wool.
yeah.
Just allow it to
Oh,
clean.
that reminds me of something that I just want to say as well. We've had a few people getting in touch with us about
Bags.
wool and about being vegan
Oh
or
yes.
about being allergic to wool, right? So two things to that. One, we are really focused on the tartan being made in that traditional special way by Claire for tons of reasons, including women getting paid fair wages, women being able to work in the industry, it staying in the Highlands, the sheep have very good lives, that it's very,
Come
very
on. Give me,
traditionally done.
give me one of
But
that.
also at the same time, we are aware there are some people where that's just like a bridge too far. So we are looking at different ways of people being able to get the tartan, which hopefully we'll be able to tell you about very soon. Okay. So we
Mhm.
are thinking about those things. But also we're trying to keep it quite small as and manageable as we can to make it keep going,
Yeah.
but without going down like a mass production line.
We
We
have been
started,
asked
yeah,
by big companies, very big companies,
yeah,
to give them our tartan. They'll make it for us. They'll make it much more cheaply. And they don't understand what it is that we're
yeah.
trying to do here. We're trying to make something which is meaningful for the people that wear it, and we don't just want to mass produce it and have it all over the
No.
world. We want people to understand it.
Yeah, because like we could do that. We could just knock it out. We could, you'll know probably that there are people that do counterfeits and fakes of it. And they're made generally, as far as we can see in Pakistan, where people are making like poor copies and it's not the standards that we use, and it's just, it's not the way that we would do it. But what pisses us off more than it being made in Pakistan is that there are places, I'm sorry to say, that they're in America who are buying that cheap fabric and then trying to pass it off as being ours. So if you see it, say to them, what are you doing selling this? Because I know that you're not allowed to buy this. So we're quite ethical about it. So there's no, somebody said about scraps, it's a zero waste as well. So everything that's made is then used for things. So we'll not wang on about that too
I
much.
know, I know, I know, I know.
Yeah, but
But we
there's
are.
more stuff coming that is not wool, that is not that hopefully will kind of, to use the entirely the wrong phrase, will scratch the itch a little bit. So
Yeah.
hopefully, plus we've also got things like our merch. We've got necklaces and tote bags and t-shirts coming out that are not tartan, but they're the quarrelsome dame sort of type things. So keep your eyes peeled. We will hopefully work out how to do this very, very soon.
Okay. Now, going on to the last thing we wanted to tell you about, and this is Scotland focused, but you guys, can take it to your own places. We're now living in a time where fascism's on the rise and the rights of women worldwide, even in so-called developed countries, are now under grave attack. And I've been reading a lot about how to fight fascism and how to looking at case studies of people that have lived through fascism. And one of the first things that they've said about it is that you don't overcome a fascist regime by going to the top of that regime and fighting with the people at the very, very top. What you do is you build, guess what, community. You build grassroots community where people get their elbows out, get involved in their local community, stand up for their rights, get involved in local politics, get involved as councillors, get involved as members of Clan Witches of Scotland.
Get involved in conversations. Like,
Absolutely.
you're standing in the post office talking to somebody and somebody says something, you're like, what? Instead of just politely going, oh yeah, maybe kind of going like, where'd you get that source from? Because I think a lot of the time people have become emboldened by their use of social media and they say stuff that they would not say face to face. But I am seeing an increase in people actually starting to say, yes, I am against this group of people. And I think that we need to, we're safe and we're okay and we're appropriate, sort of challenge things if possible. And just remember that there's more of us, I think, from my experiences, there's more kind of decent and good people than there is bad people. Having said that,
Having said that, we so in order to put our money where our mouth is, Zoe and I have been researching and have come up with some requests that we want to make of our current Justice Minister and our Justice Committee. And that said, we are going to put forward a number of proposals. The first proposal is that they implement a United Nations requirement, which has been ignored by many countries, but has just come into force in America, no, not America, in Italy, and I think there was one other country that's done it really recently. Anyway, it's bringing in a specific femicide law. Now, a femicide law is obviously murder, but it is the type of murder where a woman is killed because she is a woman. That's the definition of femicide, that part of the crime is the fact that she has been targeted for being a woman. And so the United Nations has brought that in countries, as countries all over the world. So that,
Argentina, Zuzu's just said it was Argentina that
oh,
just did it. The only
thank you so
country
much.
in Europe that's done it so far is Italy, and that was off the back of a woman being murdered by her ex-boyfriend when she wouldn't get back together with him. And the sort of the outpouring of grief and horror in Italy was so strong that they brought that in as a law.
Yeah.
So
So we want to bring in that. We've also asked that in relation to people who are being accused of criminal offences, we want there to be a specific aggravation of any offence, which will allow the sentence to be specifically increased for that. And the sentencing aggravations that we have that we have asked for is misogyny, i.e., when somebody has done something to a woman because she is a woman, using misogynistic views or expressing them or saying things, etc. And the other thing is an aggravation of doing anything to a woman while she is pregnant. The reason for that is we know that pregnancy is a time when women are at greater risk of domestic abuse, and that always horrifies me that you would be at greater risk of domestic abuse while you're carrying a child. So we want specialised aggravations brought into the criminal law. The third thing is that we want special laws in relation to deep fake images. There's already laws against having them and making them, but there aren't any laws against these companies that are making apps that can make you AI images of absolutely anything you want. So we believe that the apps and the software specifically tailored to allow to the making of images ought to be banned. And we're asking for someone to do that as well. So that is what we're doing in our local area. But what we say to you, as we say at the end of the book, if you've read it before, is get your elbows out and start raising hell.
yeah, I mean, I think that's where we've got 2 minutes left and we will get kicked out of here. So I think I'm going to say that's an excellent point to finish at. I know this sounds very over the top and it's not very Scottish. We love you guys. And we just think it's absolutely amazing that you've all joined together with us and that we've all been so open-hearted and our strength is going to just really, we can change the world. I
We
like my
can.
5-year-old self is still inside me saying that we can change the world. If we all gang together in a good way and we use our voices, we can change things. So we hope this is the beginning of a formalizing of something really, really beautiful. And we
Yeah.
love you guys and thank you so much for being in touch.
Thank you. And thank you so much for being here for the inaugural Clan Witches of Scotland meeting. Together, we will make history. We want to make this the biggest clan in the world. We want women and men across the world who agree with what we say to join our clan to make us an absolute global force to be reckoned with.
Now, weigh and enjoy your tea or your breakfast or your lunch or whatever it is that's your next food offering in your own country. Thank you so much.
Thank
See you
you.
later.
Bye.
Bye.